And we're back. After 20 minutes ago, I just got done talking about college football. Jeez Louise, man. What are we here to talk about now? Oh, that's right. Week 8 predictions for the NFL. A lot of trades have happened. A lot of shit's gone down in the NFL. This is exciting. It's crazy. We just had news break out today that happened yesterday with Kadarius Toney, and we'll talk more about it here in a second. We have Robert Quinn going to the Eagles. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. And right now, there's a Thursday night football game going on right now between the Baltimore Ravens, who are 4-3. In my opinion, the most inconsistent football team in football, squaring off against the 3-4 struggling Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I think might have a resurgence. And I'll go more in depth about that after the news and after a little bit of listening to SGF Kurt. Shout out to my boy, SGF Kurt. Hold on. I'm going to do the gritty. How about that? First time ever. You had me perform the gritty on this show. This show stinks, okay? So, anyway, despite all that, despite me doing the gritty, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing great? I'm doing fantastic. As I posted on the last video, I went up to Waco, visited Caleb. We did a recap on NFL, and we did the recap last couple days ago, and that was on Monday before the Bears and Patriots game, which that was a fucking travesty. Me and Caleb got that wrong by a mile, so 0-1 for us. Woo! But man, what a show we got to talk about today. And there's news about Cincinnati Bengals Jamar Chase being out for 4 to 5 weeks due to his hip. The Giants trade Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs for 2 draft picks. Christian McCaffrey has a chip on his shoulder after his trade. And apparently a healthy Mayfield rolling with the punches as QB2. So we're going to see more of Philip Walker in this season. And my boy, Sam Mother effing Ellinger is starting for the Colts. I'm excited about that. I hope he does well and prove to these idiots that he is a top contender. You know, he has a heart of a lion, okay? He really does. But let's go ahead and talk about Jamar Chase. This is big for Cincinnati because he's their biggest weapon, especially in the pass game. And he didn't practice Thursday and was listed on the team's injury report with a hip issue. And this is coming from Ben Baby from ESPN. He's a staff writer over there. But he's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks because of a hip injury. And that was sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. Shefty broke the news out on Thursday, which is today. The Bengals star did not practice today and was listed on the injury report with a hip issue. Chase first experienced the hip issue in the team's week win over the New Orleans Saints. He was limited at practice ahead of Sunday's win over the Atlanta Falcons, in which he appeared to pull up at one point at the end of the route. He finished the game and declined to go into specifics about his injury when he met with reporters. So this is huge for Cincinnati. And a big loss for the next 4 to 6 weeks for the Bengals receiving game. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are really good, but what about those other guys? They got to step up, So Joey B can make it happen. He's made it happen before, but that's a big loss for the Bengals. And Alan Lazard, top Packers wide receiver, he's saying that he's likely out versus the Bills. So this is huge for the Packers as they're 3-4 right now, and it has to do with his shoulder. He's saying that he got tackled on his 17-yard catch at the end of the third quarter. He heard snap, crackle, and pop, and that was last week's game against the Commanders, a disappointing loss for the Packers. And I got to say, the Packers are in trouble because what have we talked about on this podcast that has to do with the Packers and the receiving game? They have none. They gave away their best receiver to the Raiders. I mean, look what they're doing right now. Not doing much of shit, but the Packers would have done a lot better with Devontae Adams still being there. But Alan Lazard's out, and huge loss for the Pack. But the Chiefs may have just gotten themselves another weapon. Kadarius Toney, former Florida Gator. The Kansas City Chiefs acquire him from the New York Giants for 2 2023 draft picks. This came out earlier today on the Pat McAfee show. Headed to the Giants, a third-round conditional pick. Kansas City received the pick when the Bears hired Ryan Poles as their general manager earlier this year in a 2023 sixth-round selection. So that's a conditional third-round pick for the Chiefs right there. So we'll see what happens with Kadarius Toney, man. I really do think that he might step up and be that next Tyreek Hill 2.0. But who knows? We'll just have to fucking see what happens. Next game. The Panthers, Baker Mayfield rolling with the punches as QB2. This is reported by David Newton from ESPN. Obviously, I'm on the ESPN app. So Baker Mayfield, despite being healthy enough to play on Sunday when the Carolina Panthers take on their NFC South rivals, the Atlanta Falcons, is accepting his role as the backup to journeyman quarterback Philip J. Walker. This will be the first time since the first 3 games of his rookie season with the Cleveland Browns that the top pick of the 2018 draft hasn't started when healthy. Wow. I mean, kudos to Mayfield for being a good leader and embracing that backup role. But, I mean, it's pretty crazy how Baker Mayfield is being the backup after being traded to the Panthers to be the starter. But I totally understand why they have P.J. Walker, former Houston Roughneck, former Temple Owl. But, yeah, Baker Mayfield, despite being healthy, is going to be a backup. That is fucking insane. All right, so now let's get into our predictions. Okay? We got what's going on right now. I made this pick before the game even started, so don't even say, "Oh, TJ cheated." I did not cheat. I made this pick before before the game even started, and this was a hard pick for me because Baltimore is the most inconsistent football team in the NFL right now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are struggling right now. I mean, it was hard, man. It was really hard. And what was crazy though was looking at FanDuel from the Pat McAfee show. Shout out to Pat McAfee. Hopefully we could become friends sometime. But anyway, the Bucks were favored to win this game. And it's crazy because the last two stinkers that they've had against the Steelers, against the Panthers, and Baltimore coming off of a big win over a 2-5 Cleveland Browns team. But my thing is this. I think this Tampa Bay offense is way better than the way they've been playing. The Tampa Bay defense, they're better than what they've been playing. So I think this is a must-win situation for the Bucks. I'm not saying it's a not must situation for the Ravens. I just think this is a bigger game for the Bucks than it is the Ravens. And also, the Ravens are the most inconsistent football team I've ever seen in the NFL. This Baltimore Ravens team. Their defense gives up big plays. Their offense of play calling is horrendous. I mean, it's bad, man. But I went ahead and picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. I think that the Bucks are going to bounce back and they're going to win this game. And right now, it's looking like 10-3. The Bucks are on top at home. And and again, I am not saying this. I'm not saying it because the Bucks are winning right now. I did pick the Bucks based off of the Ravens are the most inconsistent team. You don't know what type of Ravens are going to come out. The team that's going to compete, the team that's going to be good, the teams that's going to be shit. Who knows? I mean, right now it's looking like the Baltimore Ravens are shit right now. And it's on Prime Video. But hopefully you guys can get a really good game on tonight. I mean, I hope it's a good game. I haven't even turned it on yet. I don't even have Prime Video. But damn, this is Thursday Night Football has been the worst football I have ever seen in NFL gameplay. Nothing but field goals, nothing but shitty offenses. But hopefully we can have some more fireworks in this game. But let's go ahead and move on to Sunday, where my Dallas Cowboys, who had a ugly win in my opinion, squaring off against the Chicago Bears, who had a impressive win on the road. And they have been the road warriors against the New England Patriots. I mean, these guys, the Bears, man, they are for real. They are a tough team. They barely lost to the Minnesota Vikings. They lost to the Washington Commanders. They lost to the Giants by 8. But it's a competitive football team. I will say that right now. This is a much different Chicago Bears team than what we've witnessed before. But the Cowboys, I don't know what to think about them right now. Same with Baltimore. They are inconsistent, and you don't know what team's going to play. They played to the level of their competition. As you saw in the first half against the Lions, they ran away with it, but that still didn't impress me. So I'm going with my Cowboys, obviously, because that's my team, for one. And for two, I think that Dak might have a good game in this game. Zeke and Tony Pollard are going to have a good game. CeeDee Lamb, he's going to have a good game. I think this is going to be a good game for the Cowboys and to shut everybody up. And, yeah, next game, though, we got a game in London. This will be the first game on Sunday. And I'll probably be watching it in my deer stand. I don't know yet. don't know what to think of this game. Russell Wilson, who was working out on the airplane, folks, doing his high knees, doing his stretches and all that on the flight to London, squaring off against Trevor Lawrence and the Duval Cats. Duval! But, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, the Clemson connection, the Dabo Swinney treaty. Okay? I call them that because I think Dabo Swinney kind of gave Jacksonville a good deal there. He said, hey, if you draft my boys, Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, I'll start helping your team out a little bit. Maybe bring in some good product for you guys. You know? Little hush-hush deal, you know? But I expect a really good game for Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to beat Denver. I really do think so. Jacksonville is a very young football team. They barely lost to a very good New York Giants team. The record doesn't speak the way they have been playing. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are not quite there yet, but they are just a couple steps away from being where they need to be. And Denver, they are fucking terrible. I will say that right now. They are fucking terrible. Russell Wilson has been absolutely garbage this season. And that's not just on him. That's on the offensive line. That's on the receiving core. Melvin Gordon hasn't been doing well. I mean, this is the most disappointing team with the biggest hype this past season, along with the Raiders. But I got the Duval Cats winning this one, and London is their home, technically. So I got the Duval Cats winning. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons. 2-5 Panthers, who just absolutely put a spanking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they square off against the Atlanta Falcons, who just came off of a loss against the Cincinnati Bengals, who I think really controlled their will against that team. Now, Carolina and P.J. Walker look good right now. But got a lot of guys questionable for Carolina, and you got a lot of guys questionable, and also one guy is out on the injury reserve for the Falcons. That's Cordell Patterson. Jalen Hawkins is out, and you got 3 guys questionable at corner, and Caleb Huntley, the running back for the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is going to be a close matchup, and I think the Panthers are going to win. I think P.J. Walker is going to find a way to get these guys to win. And not only that, Chuba Hubbard is going to make sure he's going to get those yards. And he's going to fill in that void that Christian McCaffrey has filled in, you know. And I really do think Chuba Hubbard is a good back to replace Christian McCaffrey. I think that's why they drafted him in the first place. So I got the Carolina Panthers beating the Atlanta Falcons. Next game, we got the 4-3 Miami Dolphins squaring off against the Detroit Lions. The 1-5 Detroit Lions. I don't know if it's going to be a high-scoring affair, but I do think it's going to be a close game. I think the Lions are better than what their record indicates. Same thing with the Detroit Lions, as I said about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Lions are a better team than what their record indicates. They are a young team. They have young talent. They do have a lot of injuries, though. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to be questionable. Josh Reynolds is going to be questionable. For the Dolphins, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, Christian Wilkins, and Robert Hunt are questionable. Deshaun Elliott for the Lions, too. TJ Hawkinson. Frank Ragnow is questionable. I got the Dolphins winning in a convincing manner. They're going to go 5-3. Next game, got the Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the impressive and nobody thought that would be 5-1. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, the Minnesota Vikings. In Minnesota. They just had a bye week and they're hosting the revived Arizona Cardinals after having a huge win over the New Orleans Saints. I think this is going to be a good matchup. And one of the things I really like about this Minnesota team, they are very healthy. They are a very healthy team this year. And expect them to play aggressive against this Cardinals defense. And the Vikings defense is actually solid this year. They're actually pretty solid. And I'm going to have to go with the Vikings in this game. I think the Vikings are going to do some work on the Cardinals. But I think it's going to be a 3-point win or a 7-point win over the Cardinals. Next game, we got Devontae Adams, Derek Carr squaring off against the New Orleans Saints, who are 2-5. The Vegas Raiders 2-4, looking to climb back into that 500 route and not be 2-5. I think the Raiders have really reawakened themselves. I think the balance attack with Josh Jacobs and then going play action pass and using Devontae Adams and the weapons that Derek Carr has. Finally, they look like the team that I was thinking about this past year. Josh Jacobs is definitely a top 5 running back in the NFL. I really do think the Raiders are going to beat the Saints in this game. It's going to be a tough game for that Saints defense. More importantly, that Saints offense against that Raiders defense. So I got the Raiders winning this game. Next game is an NFC East matchup that really, really is going to be a good one, I think. You got the New York Jets looking to end their 12-game skid. That's 6 years against the New England Patriots. I think the Jets are motivated to win this game. Zach Wilson, they did lose Breece Hall for the remainder of the year with the ACL tear. Correll Davis, he's killing it this year. Jermaine Johnson is questionable. Shout out to Coach JB, who coached him at Independence Community College. Now he's in the NFL. But yeah, Corey Davis has really shown up for the Jets. And I'm not really convinced with the Patriots right now, but Mac Jones is coming back. So this just got even more interesting. I'm still sticking with the Jets in this one. I think the Jets are going to win this game, and they're going to snap that 12-game streak. It is bound to happen at some point this season. But I got the Jets winning this game. Next game is a Pennsylvania Brawl showdown. The undefeated Eagles, who just got even better with Robert Quinn, squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Hurts has been impressive. A.J. Brown has looked like his old self. George Pickens really shining as a rookie. Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett still battling out for that starting spot. 2-5 Steelers undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, 6-0. I got the Eagles winning very convincingly in this matchup. Next game, got King Henry and the 4-2 Titans squaring off against the 1-4-1 Houston Texans. Ryan Tannehill, Davis Mills. I mean, this is going to be a good matchup, I think. The Texans are a really tough team, despite the record. I think what it boils down to is, are they giving the ball to Pierce enough? And I think that Tennessee's run game is going to hurt the Texans' defense. I got the Titans winning this game. I'm sorry, Texans fans, but I cannot unpick the Titans against y'all. But next game, Carson Wentz returns to Indianapolis to square off against Sam I Am Ellinger in the 3-1 Indianapolis Colts. Sam Ellinger looking to make his first NFL career start against Carson Wentz in the Washington Commanders team. I got to say, man, I am really excited to see Sam Ellinger play. And I think this Colts team is good. They're just missing a little bit of magic. And Sam Ellinger is that guy that I think it will fill in that void. All they need to do is balance attack with Sam Ellinger. Now, the Commanders, they just had a big win over the Packers. So this game, and Tyler Heineke was playing in that game. But I got to say, man, this is going to be – the Commanders also have a 2-game win streak, by the way. But the Colts have won 3 of their last 5 games. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to have to go with the Colts, man. I think Sam Ellinger is going to have a great day for his first start in the regular season. I think it'll be a good game. It'll come down to a field goal or something spectacular. I got Indianapolis. So next game is a NFC West matchup that could have some implications behind it. Got the 3-3 Los Angeles Rams, Super Bowl defending champions, squaring off against the 3-4 San Francisco 49ers, who just acquired Christian McCaffrey with Juwan Jennings and Deebo Samuel questionable. You may use Christian McCaffrey as a passing target in this game. Experts are saying the 49ers over the Rams because the Rams offense has really struggled in the last couple games. But, I mean, I'm going to have to lean towards them. I got the 49ers winning against the Rams. I just think the Rams offense isn't all that this year. I think they are missing Odell Beckham a lot, and they're not willing to pay him what they need to pay him in order to win. So I got Jimmy G and the 49ers winning that game. Next game is a game of the most improved teams in the NFL. If not in the NFL, in the NFC at least. Got the New York Giants, 6-1. Brian Dibble, Danny Dimes, Saquon Barkley, squaring off against Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and them Seattle Seahawks. This game is going to be fucking amazing. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. It is being played at Seattle. I think the Giants are going to have a little bit of trouble because now the Seattle Seahawks are pretty good this year. And Geno Smith is on fire. 11 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. 158 for 215 attempts. That's pretty good numbers. 1,712 yards. Danny Dimes, same thing, 126 for 189 attempts, 1,223 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Saquon Barkley, though, 143 carries, 726 yards, 4 touchdowns. And Kenneth Walker, 67 carries, 410 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, though, my goodness, 41 receptions, 468 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This is my NFL game of the week right here. I think this is going to be the best game thus far this season. It is going to come down to the wire. And you know what? I'm going with Grandpa Jim's team, the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are the team to make New York lose their second game of the season. I think they're going to slow them down. I think they're going to be able to control that offense. Saquon is going to get yardage, though. I am going to see Saquon Barkley going to get 125 yards total all-purpose offensive yardage. I do see Geno Smith keeps throwing the way he does. I mean, this man is absolutely electric this year, and I hope he keeps doing what he's doing this year. He's kicking ass. And Danny Dimes, too. I think this is going to be a battle between Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. And then the secondary battle, Barkley and Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a good game, despite playing against Kayvon Thibodeau and that tough defense for the Giants. I think this is going to be a 20-17 type of game. Seattle's going to win. I feel it in my heart that Seattle is going to win this game. But if the Giants do win on the road against Seattle, Philadelphia might want to watch out for the New York Giants. That's all I'm saying. It is going to be a close game. It could go either way, but I'm picking the Seahawks because they have home field advantage, and I think they can control that offense defensively. Next game is Sunday Night Football, where Aaron Rodgers gets to play against the Bills. And the Bills are not underestimating the Rodgers and Packers. Now, this is a must-win for the Packers right here. They are 3-4 for the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career since his first start, I believe. But I got to say, man, this Bills team is laser-focused this season, and they're a damn good football team. I have them as my favorites to win the AFC this year. In my mid-season pick. I am calling it right now. But this is going to be a good game based on defense. But I think the Bills' offense is just too much for that Packers defense. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think they're going to win pretty convincingly. Like a 27-10 or a 34-13 type of game. I don't know what to expect. If Alan Lazard's not there for the Packers, I think the Packers are in trouble, man. I really do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to possibly have a terrible game again. And we might see Aaron Rodgers have a 3-5 start for the first time ever. This is big. This is huge news. But if I'm a Packers fan, settle down because you have arguably one of the best quarterbacks in history playing for you. But Monday Night Football, we got to go to the Ohio rivalry in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns, the Brownies, square off against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a classic rivalry that is underappreciated by a lot of people. because of the history behind the Bengals and the Browns rivalry games, and also their history around playoffs have not been really good. I think Jacoby Brissett is starting to settle in with that Browns offense, even though they barely lost to the inconsistent Ravens. The Bengals are starting to hit their stride, even though Jamar Chase will be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully, he comes back sooner. But they still have weapons. And I'm going to have to go with the Bengals on this one. I think the Bengals are too high-powered of an offense to play against. And if you don't have Greedy Williams, Greg Newsome, or Myles Garrett to play, you're kind of screwed in this game if you're Cleveland. And kind of want to say that you regret letting go Baker Mayfield, but and also trading Houston for Deshaun Watson. Yeah, that's a terrible mistake for Cleveland. But I got Cincinnati winning this game, and that concludes our predictions. My final thoughts, though, man. I'm gonna try to watch this Thursday night football game. I did pick the Buccaneers to win, but let me see. What's the score now? Still 10-3. Thursday night football, folks. Nobody has scored on Prime Video. But, yeah, so, I mean, this is one of these type of deals that, or this part of the season right here, where you start seeing multiple trades for draft picks for a certain person, and you just see a lot of movement going on right now. The trade deadline is bound to come about here shortly, and you start seeing all these winning teams looking to grab and get. And I got to say, man, I'm really excited to see what happens in the second half of the season. Even though it's week 8 right now. It's week 8. The midseason hasn't even started. The midseason starts next week. And me and Caleb, hopefully he comes on next week, we'll go over our teams that could be the number 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed, so on and so forth for each conference. Who will be our division winners by the end of the season? Who will be our conference champions, and who will be the Super Bowl champion? But I gotta say, a lot of exciting football is going on right now, and I cannot wait to watch Sunday, as we got a lot of good games, possible upsets, a lot of good upsets on tap. So tune in next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, or actually, scratch that, 8 p.m. Central Time. And we'll talk about the recap and the predictions, and also our future, or our end of the season, or our midseason recap, and also our predictions for our end of season division leaders with the way teams are playing right now. So that concludes this episode, this live stream of the PMP NFL Talks. I am your host, TJ Riddell. We are the greatest NFL talk show in YouTube. We are the PMP. Thank you, everybody, for watching both the college football talk and NFL talk. Can't wait to see y'all's beautiful faces on Tuesday. And can't wait to talk about more football next week. Until then, goodbye and good night. Bang. See you soon. Doing something different and I had to switch it up. Turns up in my section every night we live it up. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. Doing something different and I had to switch it up. Turns up in my section every night we live it up. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. This shit is exciting. Doing with the right team. My style ain't biting. I'm striking like lightning. I'm bagging this bitch. I'm talking my shit. I'm bagging this bitch. I'm talking my shit. I'm about to get on your ass. I'ma just count some cash. I'm about to get on your ass. I'ma just count some cash. Doing something different. Just switch it up. Turns up in my section every night we live it up. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck.